My dad was just of that generation where it's just like, he was Clint Eastwood, and less is more. Simple grunts is how he communicated.
We always tease each other. He was, you know, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, you know, if I lost you and I, you know, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies I can. Like, this is a horrible thing to say. And he's like, I mean, I've got a long list. And I was like, oh really? Because I just have 1 on my list.
Oh.
I did.
And it's funny anymore.
No, it's so much more of a burn. He's like, wait, who? And I was like, think of someone, think of someone. Bob Newhart, I don't know.
But I was like just tracking him down, and then I finally got to read the script, and the script was a thriller. So that was a little confusing to me because he's like such a funny director. And so I said, you know, what is this? Because the script is definitely like a twisting, turning, intense thriller. Is it a comedy or a thriller? And he said, yes. So then every day on set, I was like, is today a comedy or is it a thriller? And it's like, yeah, it's like really kind of over the top and campy and trashy and fun and like, you know, kind of like my outfit, I guess. So it's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have 2 other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much. But we're thinking of keeping her.
Yeah. Does she like play with her? What does she think?
Well, she sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her, and she's like very maternal, and then our middle daughter is just like just keeps away from her.
The idea that people think that they know you, I think because of how intrusive media is these days, people care so much more about your personal life than they do your work, and if you aren't open with your personal life, then they just make it up for you and share it for you.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walking, talking contradiction, yet it's perfectly harmonious for her.
Ever wonder how one of Hollywood's most beloved stars could be forced out of the role that defined his career? Ryan Reynolds' unexpected departure from the Deadpool franchise sent shockwaves through the industry and left fans with countless questions. Initially revered for perfectly capturing the Merc with a Mouth's quick wit and razor-sharp humor, Reynolds suddenly found himself under intense scrutiny. Rumors surfaced about hidden legal battles, sensational lawsuits, and strained relationships, particularly involving Justin Baldoni and Ryan's wife, Blake Lively. Before long, Marvel was caught in a swirl of controversies it simply couldn't ignore. Let's dive into the tangled series of events that led to Reynolds' shocking exit and transformed the future of Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds' love affair with Deadpool began long before the first movie hit theaters. After a cameo in an earlier X-Men film, he championed the idea of a standalone feature that embraced the character's sarcastic, fourth-wall-breaking nature. The gamble paid off. The first Deadpool movie proved that superhero films could be unapologetically edgy and still make a fortune. Reynolds seemed inseparable from the role, and fans adored him. But Hollywood thrives on paradoxes. Reynolds' success with Deadpool set high expectations, and the subsequent sequel only reinforced his status as the ideal actor for Marvel's brash anti-hero. All the while, whispers around Tinseltown hinted at behind-the-scenes friction. Marvel invests heavily in its family-friendly reputation, so if negative publicity emerged, the studio might see Reynolds as a liability. For a while, these concerns were overshadowed by Deadpool's blockbuster success. However, once new controversies emerged, the relationship between actor and studio started to crack. At first, news about a rift between Ryan Reynolds and Justin Baldoni seemed like mere tabloid chatter. Baldoni, known for his acting and directing, was rumored to have tangled with Reynolds over a slew of personal insults. Some claimed Reynolds had mocked Baldoni in a way that went beyond lighthearted jabs. While Reynolds was famous for comedic roasts, especially in the context of Deadpool, fans questioned whether these remarks crossed the line. Initially, Marvel tried to distance itself from the rumors, regarding them as small-time gossip. But once it became clear Baldoni took offense, the situation escalated. Marvel's top brass worried this private spat could snowball. Any whiff of real-life hostility, especially one involving legal threats, could clash with the studio's carefully maintained image. The real trouble, however, erupted when Baldoni's name began surfacing alongside that of Blake Lively, drawing Reynolds deeper into a storm. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds seemed like a perfect Hollywood couple, glamorous, charming, and beloved for their playful social media banter. Her acting prowess and refined style made her a media darling in her own right. But rumors claimed that Blake had become entangled in a legal standoff with Justin Baldoni, one allegedly involving fabricated accusations. While details remained murky, the word cover-up soon appeared, tying Ryan into the controversy. Stories circulated that Ryan used his influence to shield Blake from scrutiny, or at the very least, to keep the drama under wraps. If true, Marvel executives had reason to worry. Even if Reynolds himself wasn't the instigator, the optics were damaging enough. The possibility that their leading man was quietly involved in a scandal could reflect poorly on a franchise worth billions. As this saga unfolded, the tension grew. Fans wondered if Reynolds and Lively were simply misunderstood, or if Marvel's golden couple had indeed dabbled in shady tactics. At this point, the studio could no longer ignore the warning signs, especially when a massive lawsuit landed squarely in the spotlight. Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds escalated the situation from rumor to legal spectacle. Alleging defamation and civil extortion, Baldoni claimed that Blake deliberately manipulated media narratives to tarnish his reputation, with Ryan effectively enabling her. Despite Reynolds' comedic persona, the allegations were no laughing matter. A lawsuit of that magnitude could tie the Deadpool actor to protracted legal battles and unflattering headlines. Marvel had witnessed how quickly public perception can shift. All it took was one lawsuit or scandal to derail a multi-billion-dollar brand. With the official documents out in the open, the story became impossible to dismiss. Whatever the outcome, the behind-the-scenes chaos threatened to overshadow the lighthearted, irreverent spirit of Deadpool, forcing Marvel's hand in deciding whether to keep Reynolds on board. The situation worsened when leaked text messages between Blake, Ryan, and Baldoni hit the internet. Some messages allegedly depicted Blake bragging about her Hollywood connections, while Ryan seemed caught in a losing battle to remain neutral. Fans debated whether he was complicit or just stuck in an impossible situation. Social media lit up with theories, rumors, and heated arguments, dividing the fandom. Marvel executives observed the intensifying controversy with growing concern. If Reynolds was shown to be fueling or tolerating media manipulation, it could undermine the studio's public-friendly image. The leaked messages painted an unsettling picture. A power couple possibly using their status to silence critics or twist narratives to their advantage. Even if Ryan's role was minimal, Marvel had to face the reality that the Deadpool brand was getting dragged through the mud. Eventually, Marvel cut ties with Reynolds, citing creative differences. To the public, it felt like a corporate smokescreen for a far messier reality. Fans erupted in disbelief. After all, Reynolds' sarcastic humor had become the heart and soul of Deadpool. How could the studio sever a relationship that once seemed unbreakable? Some viewers sympathized with Marvel's reasoning. No studio wants its top stars associated with potential scandals, especially when entire cinematic universes hang in the balance. Others saw Marvel's move as cold and unjust, arguing the brand owed much of Deadpool's success to Reynolds' vision. Debates raged online. Petitions appeared, demanding a reversal of the decision. Yet in Hollywood, such decisions are almost always final. Financial considerations typically overshadow fan sentiment. Behind the scenes, insiders suggested Marvel felt cornered. Letting go of Reynolds meant sacrificing a proven box office draw. But keeping him could have risked entangling the franchise in ongoing legal turmoil. With billions at stake, the safer route was clear. Reynolds, once an unbeatable star in the Marvel stable, found himself on the outside looking in. When Blake Lively's accusations and the ensuing lawsuit became public, immediate comparisons were drawn to other sensational Hollywood disputes, most notably the infamous Johnny Depp and Amber Heard battle. Both cases involved leaked evidence, legal drama, and divided fans. Although each situation was different, the parallels were striking. Celebrities entangled in allegations and lawsuits that could topple entire careers. Marvel had no desire to become the next studio overshadowed by a personal dispute. Watching what happened with Depp, Disney, and the subsequent public relations nightmare likely convinced Marvel to err on the side of caution. Even if Reynolds was ultimately exonerated in the court of law or opinion, the brand damage might already be done. The specter of negative press around Deadpool, one of Marvel's most profitable but polarizing franchises, loomed too large to ignore. For Ryan, the comparison to other canceled figures felt brutal. He'd spent years cultivating a lovable public persona, and many fans were convinced he was merely a bystander to Blake's alleged machinations. Still, in an industry driven by perception, association alone can be enough to spark a catastrophic fallout. The departure of Ryan Reynolds from Deadpool marks a pivotal shift, not just for this specific character, but for the broader Marvel universe. Few roles in recent memory seemed more inseparable from their actor. Now the studio faces a daunting task, recasting an icon. Will fans accept a new face in Deadpool's suit, or will they forever mourn Reynolds' comedic magic? Hollywood, however, is accustomed to reinvention. Plenty of franchises thrive after a high-profile star steps away. The real question is whether the baggage from this scandal will linger. Some speculate that if Reynolds clears his name, he could make a triumphant return down the line. Others argue that Marvel's decision is final, especially if new details emerge that further complicate his and Blake's public image. As for Blake, her once polished reputation is now under the microscope. If she truly orchestrated false claims against Baldoni, it could jeopardize her roles and endorsement deals. On the other hand, if evidence appears suggesting Baldoni's lawsuit lacks merit, public sympathy might pivot in her favor. For now, the matter remains tangled, leaving everyone involved in a state of uncertainty. Ryan Reynolds' firing from Deadpool underscores how quickly a Hollywood fairy tale can spiral into a cautionary tale. A beloved star, champion of an offbeat superhero, finds himself fighting rumors that he aided in a hidden campaign of defamation, all while studio executives weigh brand image over fan devotion. The saga illustrates the high stakes of modern celebrity culture. In an era when leaked texts and social media outrages can erupt overnight, no one is immune to a swift and brutal public reckoning. For fans, it's difficult to imagine Deadpool without Reynolds' trademark sarcasm and irreverent charm. The outpouring of support for him suggests that many still believe he was simply caught in the crosshairs of Blake Lively's alleged feud with Justin Baldoni. Others, however, feel Marvel was left with no other choice. Protect the franchise from potentially explosive legal fallout, no matter how popular the lead actor might be. This story is far from finished. Lawsuits can last for years, and each new court document or leaked detail could reshape public opinion. Perhaps Reynolds will stage a comeback, or maybe Deadpool moves on with a fresh face and a new comedic spin. In any case, the abrupt end of Ryan Reynolds' tenure highlights a sobering truth about the entertainment industry. Personal scandals often overshadow even the brightest professional achievements. Ultimately, the Marvel empire will continue moving forward, churning out blockbuster after blockbuster. The brand is too big to topple from one controversy. But the loss of Reynolds' Deadpool is a stark reminder of Hollywood's mercurial nature. One day you're on top of the world and the next you're out in the cold, all because a string of controversies, lawsuits, and leaked messages aligned at the worst possible time. Whether we see Reynolds don the red and black suit again remains a question mark. But what's clear is that his departure closes a significant chapter in superhero film history. The merc with a mouth might still crack jokes on screen, but without Reynolds, it won't ever feel quite the same.